Turner Stepdad back here. No, I haven't actually been talking about my family for a while. Just really not much going on, exciting wise, with COVID and not being able to go anywhere. I mean, we're all doing fine. And besides the fact of what we've had going on to deal with, I mean, I'm going to start with my oldest, and she's been studying to get her permit. And we've been a little too busy to do that, and with COVID, it's just kind of been a mess. I mean, she has decided to do her schoolwork from home through on since this COVID started. I mean, she's doing well. She's been able to get all her schoolwork done and all that. Um, she's been doing a lot of drawing. And it's gotten better. I mean, if you look at the my profile picture and my background picture on YouTube, you'll see that what she has done in the past, and it's a lot better now than then. But I still pretty good. I mean, now she recently told me she wants to go bow hunting, which she's gonna have to learn how to use a bow. And to be honest, I'm gonna have to learn too. But we'll learn together, and we'll both end up going bow hunting. I'll probably even do a little more beyond that, which would include shotgun, rifle, and all that. And then we come to the middle child. She has been a little tough to deal with, like a typical teenager. Um, she hardly wants to go anywhere, or even to go see family. She don't really want to leave the house that often, unless it's to see one of her friends. Which is, but she's walking, pacing around the house. She paces around the house on her phone. To me, that seems like something like I have. I can't really sit down too long. I can't stay in one place. Which I'm going to talk about that later. Now we come to the little one, the little guy. Yeah, the bundle of energy. He's been running around the house, getting into all sorts of things, even my tools. Because I've been doing some maintenance around the house, and he finds a way to get into them. I mean, we've got trouble areas for that are blocked off, for his safety. But sometimes my tools are not in. My non-sharp tools are somewhere where he can get into them. I mean, he has his own tools, but he wants Dad Dad's tools. And even when Dad Dad's cleaning up after himself, he wants the broom. So that's always gonna be fun to do it for a while. So I gotta make sure I give him something to preoccupy himself when I'm trying to clean up or work on something. And he's been trying to talk. I mean, he says apple, more like apple. He also says dad or mom, but it's more like dad, 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 mom, 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 mom. And he has a certain own way to call for his sisters, but it's not actually their name. I mean, but we know he's calling for them. And he's got his favorite movies already picked out, at least a couple. He's got Moana, Shrek, and Wreck-It Ralph. See if I can adjust this a little more. There we go. Yeah. Every time I put on Shrek, he points at me, which we assume he's saying, "I'm Shrek" to him. So I make quotes from I quote lines from Shrek, like "Get out of my swamp," and he seems to enjoy it, which I enjoy too. I mean, he's been growing like a weed. I mean, I think if I got it correct, he's like almost 3 foot tall right now. You know, not even 2 years old yet. We also have this routine now that we got going on about almost every night. It's where I take a playlist I made for him and sing along with it while holding him. Usually he only gets about halfway through the playlist before he falls asleep. And then I put him in his crib. And then I got other things I gotta do after that. Because we usually put him to bed around 8. Now, the wife has been having a lot of things going on at work. I mean, some good, mostly good, actually. I mean, she works with the mentally feeble, and a lot of the family members of these individuals she works with are very thankful for what she has done for their members, for them, for their family members. I mean, I can't go into detail because of HIPAA and all that, but she's made these individuals' lives better than what they were before she came into their lives. I mean, and then I know there's a lot of people going on about the COVID vaccine. I mean, she has gotten the vaccine and has had no side effects. The only reason she got this vaccine is because one, she has an autoimmune disease that makes it well, that causes her to get sick easier, and I think also her work was able, since she works with these individuals, she was able to get it. And I haven't got it because I'm healthy, well, healthy-ish. I mean, I've been recently having issues with weight gain. I mean, I'm over 260 pounds right now. Um, there's a it mainly started. My belief is mainly started when I went from a very active job to an office job where I sit up behind a computer all day. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the office job. It's just I need to get more active when I'm not doing this job. And then there's been an issue that I don't know if it's actually part of this weight gain caused by weight gain or not because of some of the research I did say it's a kind of starts snowballing. But my testosterone levels are in the low range, and last year I did a test and they were in the low range, but this year I got another test and it dropped by around 100. So that's and I've read that when your testosterone does drop, you will gain weight, and I'm probably gonna be making a video on that later as I do research and other stuff to discuss the talk about the testosterone loss. Maybe so people can help. I'm things that affect me or something I like making videos about. I mean, it helps because of the research and maybe it'll help someone else. But the doctor wants me to get another test in 6 months. So I need to. I'm hoping that maybe I can reverse the drop, but if not, we can catch it before it gets. If it continues to drop, hopefully we can catch it to where if I do end up hitting the below the standard levels, that it can be taken care of prior to getting out of control. I mean, it's really it is an issue that some guys will suffer from, and I actually understand it. I don't judge people's weight by the fact that they want their because of their weight. Maybe there's an issue like that. Their testosterone levels have fallen, and maybe they do not understand. I mean, when I graduated basic training, I was almost like a stick, and now I'm pretty chunky. In other words, I have been working on the Camaro, my Camaro, and that's kind of more of a hobby for me, which is restoring cars. I mean, I may have to work on it for a while, and a lot of the parts I have recently I have gotten for it were free because someone was going to scrap with another Camaro that body style because there's like no floorboards in that car. Yeah, and as I said, we've been making improvements to our home to make sure safety of family. I mean, plumbing, gauge for the baby. I mean, because we have it set up to where he won't be able to get into the bathroom or the girls' room because the girls' rooms are disaster areas, and I'm not. When you're trying to get them cleaned up, I mean, my room wasn't that great at their age, but still, it was a little better. It was a lot better than that. We also keep them out of the kitchen, and when we bought this house in 2015, there's some work that needed to be done. A lot of it's been done to me, and it's either I researched how to do it or already knew how to do it from helping my stepdad with housework. You know, we're eventually gonna have to build a room down in the basement to add an extra bedroom because one, we don't have enough rooms in this house, and we can't afford to really move to another house. But this one is finished enough that it's not gonna be an issue really to add it, put some walls, add some wiring, and move some ductwork to add a room down here. Well, down there. See, and it's the oldest that wants to move down in the basement. I have been trying to actually stream a bit. I mean, it's gonna be mainly for gameplay because I like playing games, but just haven't been able to have much time to really do it due to the little one. He's always waking up by the time I'm trying to do stuff. I mean, he's always up and at 'em, but he does take a nap around one or two. I mean, I may eventually, like when we actually do go out and do stuff like family, I may actually record it and all kinds of stuff. I mean, I have a phone I've had, not a phone, but a camera I've had since 2012. I've recently got enough memory on it to do about oh, 11 hours worth of video on just one card. But I'm still gonna do family stuff. I will continue with the videos on the hypocrisy, um, First Amendment issues, actually mainly constitutional issues. I mean, I had a talk with, I pointed out a little issue about the fact that only 3% of criminals have gotten their firearms by legal means. But the recent bill that's going through, most responsible gun sellers will make sure an individual either has, like, when I got my firearm, my handgun, they asked me to either have a permit to purchase or a permit to carry. I ended up I had a permit to carry. You end up with a copy of it. But if this bill passes, there's gonna be places where they're gonna want to go, oh, even if you have a permit to purchase or a permit to carry, we're still gonna need to do a background check. So if they, but you wouldn't be able to have a permit to carry or purchase if you had a history. Now, that's just a problem with I mean, a separate. When you go to get a background check, you're gonna have to pay for the background check. And I've done several background checks before. I mean, yes, for each firearm you purchase, a background check is done. But I've done a couple for the Army. I filled out actually the military background checks for your security clearances are like that thick. But we need to watch these bills on firearms going through because it should not be mandatory to do all of this, do several background checks. I mean, for civilian, I mean, for private buys. I mean, if they have a permit to carry or permit to purchase already, it doesn't matter if they're buying a handgun or a shotgun or a rifle. They already have that permit to carry that permit, so you don't need to do an additional background check. Now, if they're like a friend and you already know they have firearms, why? That means they're legal, already allowed to have firearms. Especially if you go with a buddy to when they go and purchase one. And if they're military, they are definitely allowed to have a firearm because the military will not allow you to be in there if you have a criminal history of violence. Okay, and I'm gonna also do my opinions on military events. Anything like the when someone does something stupid, I still can't believe that. Can't believe the whole. Well, I'm gonna glue my hair and I'm gonna glue a cup to my mouth because I'm a dumbass. Now, now to the event I was talking about. It's been a couple years now. I had a first sergeant that I really respected. Um, he carried a firearm for his civilian job, and one day he came home and he had a Glock in the shoulder holster, and when he was getting out of the car, he bent over to got up. Firearm fell out and hit the ground and went off and hit his femoral artery, and he didn't make it. Um, I, by the request of his family, and I'm not gonna say names for I due respect, they wanted those some of us from the unit to do the honors, actually do the funeral detail, and I was one of those few who was part of that funeral detail. I was one of the pallbearers, and we only had a week to do the training in. Now, that's what brings me to some of the safety things I don't know exactly what caused it. I don't know if it's what caused the firearm to fall out, whether it was a strap or an issue with the actual firearm, the strap breaking or not being properly connected. But I have my firearm here, and as you can see, it is unloaded, so I don't shoot myself or anything. That's and because I'm gonna be handling in so many different ways, I make sure it's unloaded. And this is the holster I've been using. It's got a snap and a Velcro. Snap. It's got snaps and Velcro to when you holster it. And this is actually would have been. This was actually I purchased myself. It was meant for the 9mm Berettas. I have that the military uses. I have mine is a 40 caliber PX4 Storm Beretta, and it sits in here just fine. But I like the snaps, and the Velcro has additional hold. Now, when you slide it in, it's easy to slide out. But when you snaps are tight enough, and see, and you put the Velcro over, and that's in case of, like, say, the snap is not tight enough, it's got a little holster, extra hip. But see, it takes a lot. It's not even gonna come out because that hammer's catching. It's, even though this is where this is sitting, I don't have any adjustments. I mean, I can't even make it any tighter, or else I'm not gonna be able to snap it shut. But it takes so much effort because of how much space are in there. I mean, and this is pretty solid. I would recommend something of that nature because you can still flip that up, snap it, and still pull it out. So, but most people always talk when talking about gun safety, they're only talking about keeping your finger off the trigger, making sure it's unsafe, and when handling it for other than shooting, make sure it's clear. But they never really talk about holsters. I mean, when you're having it in a holster, you don't see much talk about that. So, like, that's something that needs to be addressed. Make sure your holster's functional when it when you're going to use it. I mean, I always every now and then will check to make sure that snap's holding, even though it's got the extra Velcro. I always want to make sure your snap's holding. See, not gonna give. Now, let me put it this way. See, snap's not even snapped, but it takes a lot of force. Because if say you just place it like that, it takes a little more force to still get it out. It doesn't have that ability just to slide out. And even see, and it's still caught. It's even at that weight, it still holds. So you gotta remember. So make sure to have your equipment always functional, which the Army likes to call it PMCS. Check your equipment to make sure it's working and properly working function. And make sure if you need to have an extra safety measure to make sure your firearm does not fall out of your holster. And hopefully we can prevent stuff like that from happening again. And I am going to call it a day. Remember that, I'll leave it with this. Remember that family may have different political opinions. You should not let that keep you apart from each other. I mean, let's have, I know part of my family, I mean, it's my father-in-law, my brother-in-law that have that issue where their politics really cause issues. I mean, I I actually support securing the border. I support making sure that every U.S. citizen can vote, but they have to have proof they're a U.S. citizen to be able to register to vote. Birth certificate, driver's license, identification card, social security card. There's plenty of identification you can use to show that you are a U.S. citizen. There is no way you can claim that these that requiring proof of citizenship is what's the word of it? Oppression or restricting your right to vote because you have access to those four things. You have access to them, so that gives you no excuse. All right, and I will see you next time.